Hello everyone, welcome to YouTube channel. Today we study psychology by Surendra K. Sisarle and Gireshwar Mishra. This is chapter 2, the biological perspective and part first. So let me start. Why study the nervous system and the glands? How could we possibly understand any of our behavior, thoughts or actions without knowing something about the incredible organs that allow us to act, think and react? If we can understand how the brain, the nerves and the gland interact to control feelings, thoughts and behavior, we can begin to truly understand the complex organism called a human being. Neurons and nerves building the network. This chapter will explore a complex system of cells, chemicals and organs that work together to produce behavior, thoughts and actions. The first part of the complex arrangement is the nervous system, a network of cells that carries information to and form all parts of the body. The field of neuroscience is a branch of the life science that deals with the structure and functioning of the brain and the neurons, nerves and nervous tissues that form the nervous system. Biological psychology, behavioral neuroscience is the branch of neuroscience that focus on the biological basis of psychological process, behavior and learning, and it is the primary area associated with the biological perspective in psychology. Structure of the neuron, the nervous system and building block. If it was Senator Roman Y. Kajal, a doctor studying slides of brain tissues, who in 1887 first theorized that nervous system was made of individual cells. Skin cells are flat, but muscle cells are long and stretchy. Most cells have three things in common: a nucleus, a cell body, and a cell membrane holding it all together. The neuron is the specialized cell in the nervous system that receives and sends messages within that system. The part of the neuron that receive messages from other cells are called dendrites. The dendrites are attached to the cell body or soma, which is the part of the cell that contains the nucleus and keep the entire cell alive and functioning. The axon, from the Greek for axis, is fiber attached to the soma, and its job is to carry message out to other cells. The end of the axon branches out into several shorter fibers that have swelling on little knobs on the ends called axon terminals. May also be called presynaptic terminals, terminal buttons or synaptic knobs, which are responsible for communicating with other nervous cells. Here is the structure of the neuron: soma, nucleus, axon terminal, dendrite, myelin sheath, axon terminal, synaptic knobs and axons. This is the structure of the brain. You can see it. The other 90% of the brain is composed of glia cells that serve as a sort of structure on which the neurons develop and work, and that hold the neurons in place. There are several different types of glia cells that perform various functioning, such as getting nutrients to neurons, cleaning up the remains of neurons that have died, communicating with neurons and other glia cells, and providing insulation for neuron. They helping maintain a state of homeostasis or sense of balance in the nervous system. They are increasingly being better understood as pattern cells, not just support cells. Glia cells are also being investigated for their possible role in a variety of neurodevelopment diseases like autism spectrum disorder, degenerative disorder such as Alzheimer's disease, and psychiatric disorder including major depression disorder and schizophrenia. Glia cells also play an important role in learning, behavior, and neuroplasticity by affecting synaptic connectivity and facilitating communications between neurons in a specific neuron network. Two special types of glia cells called oligodendrocyte and Schwann cells generate a layer of fatty substance called myelin. Oligodendrocyte produce myelin for the neurons in the brain and spinal cord, the central nervous system. Schwann cells produce myelin sheath for the neurons of the body, the peripheral nervous system. Bundles of myelin-coated axons travel together as the cables in the central nervous system are called tracts, and the peripheral nervous system bundles of axons are called nerves. This is very important question from UGC NET. Places where the myelin seems to bump are actually small space on the axons called knobs, which are not covered in myelin. Myelinated and unmyelinated sections of axons have slightly different electrical properties. There are also far more ion channels at each knobs. In the disease called multiple sclerosis (MS), the myelin sheath is destroyed, possible by the individual's own immune system. Early symptoms of MS may include fatigue, change in vision, balance problem, and numbness, tingling, or muscle weakness in the arms or legs. Generating the message within the neuron, the neural impulse. Inside and outside the cell is a semi-liquid jelly-like solution in which there are charged particles or ions. Although both positive and negative ions are located inside and outside of the cell, the relatively charge of ions inside the cell is mostly negative, and the relative change of ions outside the cell is mostly positive due to both diffusion, the process of ions moving from area of high concentrations to area of low concentration, and electrostatic pressure, the relatively balance of electrical charge when the ions are at rest. The cell membrane itself is semi-permeable, meaning that some molecules may freely pass through the membrane while others cannot. Inside the cell is concentration of both smaller positively charged potassium ions and large negatively charged protein ions. Outside the cells are loads of positively charged sodium ions and negatively charged chloride ions, but they are unable to enter the cell membrane when the cell is at the rest because the ion channel that would allow them in are closed. The sodium ions, when closer around the membrane, this difference in charge creates an electrical potential. When the cell is resting, the electrical potential is in a state called the resting potential. Because the cell is at rest, the fans are stuck outside. The sodium ions cannot enter when the cell is at rest because even though the cell membrane has all these channels, the particular membrane channels for the big sodium ions are not open yet. But when the cell receives strong enough stimulation from another cell, meaning that the dendrites are activated, the cell membrane opens up those particular channels, one after the other, all down its surface, allowing the sodium ions, the fans, to rush into the cell. That cues the inside of the cell to become mostly positive and the outside of the cell to become mostly negative, because many positive sodium ions are now inside the cell. The electrical charge reversal is known as action potential because the electrical potential is now in action rather than a rest. Each action potential sequence takes about 1,000 of a second, so the neural message travels very fast from 2 millions or in the slowest sorted neuron 27 millions per hour in other neurons. The action potential means that the cell is now positively inside and negatively outside at the point where the channel opened. First, the sodium ion channels closed immediately after the action potential has passed, allowing no more fans sodium ions to enter. The cell membrane also literally pumps the positive sodium ions back outside the cell, kicking the fans out until the next action potential opens the ion channel again. When a neuron does fire, it fires on an all or none fashions. That is, neurons are either firing at a full strength or not firing at. There are no such things as particular firing of a neuron. The nerve impulse action potential. This is the action potential. You can see the neuron at rest. During the resting potential, the neuron is negatively charged inside, positively charged outside, negatively charged in inner cell membrane. Sodium ions along with potassium ions move outside membrane. Sodium ions enter next segment of axon. The nerve impulse continues. As the action potential moves down the area toward the axon terminals, the cell area behind the action potential returns to the resting state of a negatively charged as a positively sodium ions are pumped to the outside of the cell and the positive potassium loss rapidly leave. The neural impulse. The action potential occurs when positive sodium ions enter into the cell, causing a reversal of the electrical charge from negatively to positively. sending the message to other cells, the synapse. Notice that the synaptic knob is not empty, it has a number of little square structure. It is called synaptic vesicles. The word vesicle is Latin and means a little blister or full-filled as sac. Inside the synaptic vessels are chemicals suspended in fluid, which are molecules of substance called neurotransmitters. There are neurons that contain only one primary neurotransmitter, but there are also some neurons that contain more than one neurotransmitter. Next to the synaptic knob is the dendrite of another neuron inside of an electrical charge. The vesicle at the end of the axons, also called the presynaptic membrane, contain the molecule of neurotransmitter and the surface of the dendrite next to the axon. The postsynaptic membrane contains ion channels that have receptor sites, proteins that allow only particular molecule of a certain shape to fit into it, just as only a particular key will fit into a keyhole. The synapse picture is here, you can see it. It is important to understand that the next cell may be neuron, but it may also be a cell on a molecular or gland. Muscles and glands have special cells with receptor sites on them. Just like on the dendrite of a neuron, muscles are told to contract or relax, and glands are told to secrete or stop secretion their chemicals. The neurotransmitters found at various synapses around the neuron nervous system can either turn cells on, called an excitatory effect, or turn cell off, called an inhibitory effect, depending on exactly what synapse is being affected. It is not a neurotransmitter itself that excitatory or inhibitory, but rather it is the effect of that neurotransmitter that is either excitatory or inhibitory at the receptor site of a particular synapse. Neurotransmitter message of the network, neurotransmission, function, palace, and disorder. Acetylcholine, excitatory or inhibitory, involved in arousal, attention, memory, controls muscles contractions, found synapse between neurons, muscle cells, hippocampus. Disorder, Alzheimer. Next neurotransmitter is serotonin, excitatory or inhibitory, involved in mood, sleep, appetite, found lower part of the brain. Disorder, depression. Next neurotransmitter is GABA, gamma aminobutyric acid, major inhibitory neurotransmitter, involved in sleep, inhibits movements, anxiety. Next is glutamate, major excitatory neurotransmitter, involved in learning, memory, formation, nervous system development, synaptic plasticity. Disorder, Alzheimer's disease, Huntington disease. Next is norepinephrine, mainly excitatory, involved in arousal and mood. Next is dopamine, excitatory or inhibitory, involved in control of movement, sensation of pleasure, found brain. Disease is Parkinson's disease, schizophrenia. Next is endorphins, inhibitory neuroregulatory, involved in the pain relief. Cleaning up the synapse, repetic enzymes. The neurotransmitter have to get out the receptor sites before the next stimulation can occur. Some just drift away through the process of diffusion, but most will end up back in the synaptic vesicles in a process called reuptake. Some drugs like cocaine affect the nervous system by blocking the reuptake process. There is one neurotransmitter that is not taken back into the vesicles. However, because acetylcholine is responsible for muscle activity and muscle activity needed to happen rapidly and continue happening, it is not possible to wait around for the sucking up process to occur. Instead, an enzyme is specifically designed to break apart acetylcholine, clear the synaptic gap very quickly, a process called enzymatic degeneration. There are enzymes that break down other neurotransmitters as well. Some anti-anxiety medicines such as diazepam, Valium are classified as benzodiazepines and are agonists for GABA, the primary inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain area. The brain that play a role in controlling anxiety, agitation, and fear, including the amygdala, orbitofrontal cortex, and the insula by increasing the inhibitory claiming action of GABA. The benzodiazepines directly claim this specific brain area. Neurotransmitter serotonin help regulate and adjust people's mood, but in some people the normal process of adjustment is not working properly. In one theory of depression, serotonin is either not produced or not released in great enough amounts, so it can fully activate the receptor on the next neuron, leaving the person in a state of depression. Some of the drugs used to treat depression are called SSRIs, selective serotonin reuptake inhibition. SSRIs block the reuptake of serotonin, leave more serotonin available in the synapse to bond with the receptor sites. Low levels of serotonin is equal to low levels of mood, or fully understood. SSRIs are effective for depression, anxiety, and OCD. So thank you everyone. Please do comment, share, and subscribe the channel.